Things are getting ready to bloom.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. I decided to come outside. I come outside a little bit. Let's see if I can. Just gonna change exposure a little bit. Yeah. Kind of got a. Might be a little dark. I'm in the shade right now. In the shade. Flowers are getting good. I got some lilies over here next to my spiderwort that's getting ready to bloom. Last year I did some macro photography on it. Some of the bees and hornets and stuff, wasps, whatever, bees, yellow jackets and everything come over here to those yellow they're yellow lilies. Anyway, I just did a video on how it sucks not having a studio. And it spurred a thought about something that I have been thinking about last couple days, and figured I might as well go ahead and mention it, talk about it a little bit. As always, the things as right now anyway, everything I'm doing now is for posterity. And overtaxing the 2%. Overtaxing the 2%. I was just talking about how, like I said, how it sucks not having a studio, but as long as there's one person that is interested, comments, interacts, and is involved with what I'm doing, then I will continue, I will endeavor, I will be more structured, and I'm going to try to do things that I need to start working on, like my discipline and everything, my follow through. One thing that, as a little side note, as far as content goes, it may seem like I have these ideas and I start something and don't finish them. I have a problem with, I have the ability to foresee something happening in the future, like well into the future. So I'll get the ball rolling too soon. Like for the last year, I've been talking about my wife's squirrels, but she's not ready for it yet. So it's not like I'm throwing things out there and not doing anything about it. I'm throwing things out there because I have the foresight to see its importance in the future, or something happening in the future, and I jump the gun and I get the ball rolling before it's time. See, before the proper timing. You could, as an example, you could go back to a couple YouTube videos ago. I bought something for a friend I met on TikTok, and I held on to it for 6 months, waiting for the right time. It was an inevitability for me, but I jumped the gun. I sat there in my room for like 6 months, waiting for the right time to give this gift to her. So, okay, that's a good segue into the 2%, because that person's definitely part of my 2%, and I am part of her 2%. What is the 2%? Not ready for that conversation yet, but I am worried about one thing. I am worried about overtaxing my 2%. Because I noticed something that's kind of interesting on social media, especially when people decide to take their personal accounts and what they're doing, and taking their friends from their personal accounts to a professional theater, whether it be photography or visuals or modeling, whatever the case is. So what happens is you meet friends, like say Instagram's a good example. You meet friends on Instagram and stuff, right? And I haven't done my yoga yet. I'm gonna do my yoga again today, but I got posture problems. Sit straight. I'm gonna bring the camera up a little bit. All right, much better. So back to the story at hand. the you get to know people on their personal accounts, right? And then they become a YouTuber. They become somebody where they need a professional account. And so this is how it works, right? This is how it's worked for me. So I follow someone on Instagram. We become friends on Instagram. Then we follow each other on TikTok. This happened. This is actually a true thing. It's actually a true thing. Then we follow each other, support each other on TikTok, right? And then we go and we become really good friends. Not that kind of good friends, but we become bros, whatever. We follow each other on Facebook. That's when you start following your friends that you met on TikTok or Instagram on Facebook. That's all on your personal Facebook. That's a new level of friendship, right? So then we're doing that, and let's say they do YouTube, and so you start following them on YouTube, and then this is all on their personal accounts, and then they start a professional account on all those platforms. So all of a sudden, then you go from supporting somebody, your friend, on 4 platforms to 8 platforms. It multiplies by a factor of 2, right? So they're okay. Well, that's all fine and dandy with one person. Well, let's say you're networked with like 25 people. So it'd be like a full-time job just trying to keep up with their content, because as the internet gurus say, you should be uploading a bazillion videos and photos a day and just copying and rubber stamping them, copying and pasting them to everything else. I cannot watch the same content over and over and over again. I can't. I have too good of a memory. If I watch your shit on YouTube and it's the same stuff that you share on all your platforms, I'm just going to like and not watch it. You're not going to get the engagement from me because I've already seen it. Right? So that's kind of why I adopted a way of like trying to do different flavors for different platforms but still trying to be focused with my content. So that's what I'm working on now. But it got me to thinking, like, I'm worried about like the small 2%, the small handful of people who actually are engaged with what I do, to be quite honest, what I want us to do together in the future with creativity, exploring our creativity, unlocking the creative mechanism in the mind without taking it so far that you go insane, right? But there's a certain unity I want to incorporate with that, right? But what I'm worried about is that there's some people that are following me on multiple platforms. When I start duplicating that, when I reveal my professional accounts, when I start having maybe a Facebook group, if my idea for a creativity movement is like a renaissance of creativity, right? And I just want to help facilitate that into the future, to spearhead that movement per se, right? And I'm just worried. I would not worried, but I just don't want to overtax people who are following me on multiple platforms. Okay. If you decide that you only want to follow me on YouTube, that's fine. If you decide that you only want to follow me on Facebook, or you only want to be friends on Instagram, whatever the case is, just pick one. I'm strong enough to handle that. I don't think I want to have people supporting me on everything. Excuse me. I'm very appreciative of that, but I'm also very sensitive to. I don't want to create too much work for. I don't want our creative interaction between each other to be laborious. Does that make sense? To be just another job. Anyway, back to my point. I don't want to overtax people. When a movement gets to a certain point, it's leading me to another topic. This is leading me into another topic that, man, this might be a day for videos. It might be a day for videos. Anyway, if you're following me now, and we're friends, and we're interacting, and we're collectively trying to be creative, that kind of stuff, engaging in each other's content. I will not take offense if you only want to follow me on one platform or interact with me on one platform. I do not expect anybody to work that hard, So, anyway. But if you do decide, I'm just going to follow you if you're just going to interact with me on just one thing, I do encourage you to DM me on that one platform or interact with me on that one platform. That will help us keep a straight dialogue going. You build friendships in the DMs and direct messages. That's where the friendships are made, guys. That's where the friendships are made, is in the DMs. So when someone becomes brave enough to DM me on Instagram, as an example, I know that they actually value the interaction we've had to that point, and I value it also. That's why I respond to DMs. Sometimes DMs I don't really know where the person's. I understand there's a diverse amount of people out there in the world, and sometimes I don't really know where they're going with their DM. Not in a bad way. It's just conversationally. I don't know, structure wise, like what are you trying to say? But I'm long suffering for people to a degree. If I've gotten to the point where I've actually severed my tie with you, it's pretty hard to do. I'm pretty long suffering. It has to be something that is cringy enough for me not to want to interact with it, or I don't trust the integrity of your content or the integrity of why you're interacting with me, or you've just been so fucking annoying that you push me to my patience limit, which is pretty hard to do, actually, to a degree. I mean, I guess it's pretty hard to do. Anyway, that led to another topic. Starting the movement. What is this movement? Do I change locations in my backyard? I live in a non-glorious fashion, trust me.